I made a pact with myself to meditate for 100 days in a row. This is day 100, and I made a few mistakes. Here are 5 of them, and I want you to avoid these on your meditation journey. The first mistake I made was waiting too long in the day to meditate. If you're anything like me, if the day starts getting away, hours into the day, the more likely of me doing something is greatly reduced. Whether that's going to the gym, meditating, eating well, going for a walk, getting outside, going for a surf, it all goes downhill if the day gets away. And there were many times in the day where I'd leave it until 4 or 5, even into the evening, and I really couldn't be bothered to do it. It was a proper drag. But I made a pact with myself, so I had to keep at it. However, there was huge resistance there. So if you're getting into meditation, my biggest recommendation, don't fall into the same mistake I did. Meditate in the morning. Meditate when you get up. As soon as you wake up, maybe have a coffee first if you wish. But if you meditate first thing in the morning, it's like your brain is still offline. The monkey mind hasn't kicked in. People aren't coming at you. You're not getting loads of messages from everyone asking something of you. It's kind of your time. And it's a time where there will be the least resistance to do it. So if you're just getting into meditation, my biggest advice, or one of my 5 biggest pieces of advice, meditate as soon as you can in the morning, because the likelihood of you then doing it is going to greatly increase. If you leave it to the end of the day or afternoon, if you're like me, the likelihood of you doing it greatly reduces. That's advice number 1. Try to get it done as soon as you can. By the way, if you're thinking, why is this guy holding his mic like this? I broke my stand the other night, so I just have to hold it like a singer. Right, 2. Don't expect your practice to get easier. So my assumption getting into the meditations, day 40, 50, and I've meditated for 10 plus years, but the consistency of it, I really wanted to test myself how long I could meditate for. And what I found was, or what I realized was, the practice didn't get any easier. So my expectation didn't meet reality. So my mistake was having the wrong expectation. But don't get disheartened. What you will find works really well and does get better, not the practice itself. Because you'll go in with days where you're like, this is a drag. Your mind is everywhere. It's there. It's thinking of this, thinking of that, thinking of the past, thinking of the future, thinking about your ex-girlfriend, thinking about your ex-boyfriend. It is all kicking in. You're going to get those days. But what will get easier is you coming back to the practice. Your mind might be escaping lots, but you, because of the practice, because of the training of the prefrontal cortex, your ability to come back to the present moment becomes much stronger and much easier. So the practice itself doesn't get much easier, but the thing that does get easier is your ability to bring it back to the present moment. So the mistake is having the wrong expectation, because if you go in with the wrong expectation, then you might get disheartened. You think, this is crap, I'm not getting any better here. This isn't working for me, and you give up. But if you stay with it, the gold is in the ability to come back to the practice and the present moment. When you first do it, it's like, okay, my mind is wandering. I'm trying to bring it back. It's super tough. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 days in, the ability to come back. Oh, I'm thinking about that last year. You bring it back much quicker. So don't let your expectation dishearten you if you feel the practice isn't getting easier. Okay? So that's mistake number 2 that I made. 3 is my thought that I had to stick to one practice. So about 20, 30 days in, I was just doing the same practice, same breathing, same everything really. Now, people might argue with this point, but what I really feel is you can meditate doing anything. You can meditate while running. You can meditate while cooking. You can meditate while walking. You can meditate in the sea. You can meditate doing breathing. You can meditate focusing on imagery. You can really meditate doing anything as long as you're fully immersed in that practice. If you're not fully immersed in the practice, then it's not really a meditation. But if you can stay very present, very mindful. Again, if your mind wanders, no problem, you can bring it back. But my conception, is that right, was I had to do the same thing every day, and I kind of got bored with it, and my mind got very used to it, but there was something missing. So after that 30, 40 days or whatever, I started mixing it up. Walking meditations, getting in the sea, getting myself in the sea and just trying to meditate, doing some different breathing practices. So mix up your practice. Try not to just do one thing, because I think you might get bored. The human brain loves variety, so it likes to be challenged in different modalities. But hey, you might want to stick with a practice because you love it and it works for you. No problem at all. That works. Brilliant. But what I'm saying is, for me, I got a bit bored and wanted to do some other stuff, and I just thought one meditation was it. But I really think that you can meditate specific to you, what you enjoy, as long as you stay in that present moment, very mindful moment feeling. And you're going to come away with, wow, I wasn't drifting off. I wasn't thinking about what happened at work. I was very in the moment. That's meditation. So don't go in thinking you have to do the same thing. If you want to do the same thing, no problem at all. But have the flexibility of switching it up and doing some different meditations, testing the variety out. I think your brain will love you for that. Okay, nearly there. 4, being super hard on myself when I felt I wasn't able to stick with it. It's pointless. If you're going in with the heart and the expectation on yourself to be perfect, you're just going to self-sabotage, be very self-critical, you're going to get annoyed at yourself, and it's not going to be a pleasant experience. So my mistake was getting annoyed when I was drifting, getting annoyed when I felt like I didn't have a good practice, getting annoyed at myself if I didn't feel like I went deep into the practice. You see what I'm saying? I was getting very annoyed at myself. And what does that do? That doesn't do anything. You're just going to get disheartened with the practice. You're going to put yourself down, and you're not going to want to turn up the next day for it. But I quickly nipped that in the bud and thought, well, why am I doing this? I'm doing this to strengthen my mind. I'm doing this as a challenge. So why am I being hard on myself if I feel annoyed on tough days? The purpose of it all is to go through those tough days to better myself. So what's the point in getting annoyed at myself? Because if you get annoyed, like I said, you're not going to want to turn up the next day for your practice. So my advice to you is, when you do find those days, and you will, where you're annoyed at yourself, you think, I can't do this, you can't focus, they're the days that really matter. But do not get annoyed at yourself, because it doesn't do anything. Acknowledge how that day went. Acknowledge what you were thinking. Acknowledge that it was a tougher day. But acknowledge that you showed up. That's what it's all about. Just showing up to the practice half of the time. That's a win. You've showed up, you've attempted it, and you've stuck with it. Just don't get annoyed at yourself, because you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to quit the practice that you're in as well. But nip that in the bud. Stop yourself, think, okay, let me reframe this. Instead of getting annoyed, be aware that this is a challenge, yes, but I'm going to stick with it because I know I will feel better for that in the long run. Cool? The final one is getting started in your meditation under 2 minutes. So the mistake I made, or one of the mistakes I made, is waiting for the perfect conditions to start. And this could have been waiting for no noise in the background. This could have been, I've got to wait till 6 a.m. It could have been waiting for my mind to settle. It could have been, I'll do it after that. And this kind of relates to that first point of letting the day get away. But this is about letting the practice get away. So what I find is, if you really want to be consistent, start the meditation by doing something, an action to do that meditation under 2 minutes. Let me provide a bit of context here. Let's say you're going for a run. To start the run, it's very hard. You're thinking, I can't be bothered. So you take an action which you can complete in under 2 minutes to get the ball rolling. That could be just putting on your shoes. Boom, you've got the ball rolling. Now I'll put your shorts on. I doubt you put your shorts on after your shoes, but Then it could be, okay, I'm going to pick my playlist. These are all little building blocks. Another example, getting to the gym. You're at home. Getting to the gym is overwhelming if you can't be bothered. So, what's an action you can take in under 2 minutes? Okay, it is filling up my water bottle. Filling up your water bottle. Now, what's the next step? Okay, it's getting my backpack ready. Boom. And all those building blocks get you to the gym. The same with meditation. Take action by doing something which takes less than 2 minutes. And for meditation, this could be just sitting upright in your bed. That's action number 1. It could be putting on some music, finding a playlist, finding a song. That's action number 2. But don't think everything has to be perfectly aligned for you to start. Because just like the first point, you're going to delay it. You're thinking, oh, you know what? Too much to do. I can't be bothered. Break down the practice until you find actionable steps to help you do that practice. If that makes sense, right? So you could be lying in your bed. I'm just going to give a bit more context. Lying in your bed. Oh, I've got to meditate now. Instead of thinking I've got to meditate, think, okay, what can I do under 2 minutes? Well, I could sit up. Okay, I've sat up. Now what? Okay, I could pick that music that I like. You put the music on. Okay, well, I could put my hands in a meditative position. That's action 3. Okay, let me put my phone on airplane mode so no one distracts me. You see what I'm doing? Then you're getting to the point of meditation. Okay, so don't wait for the perfect conditions. Obviously, make sure there's no distraction. Make sure you're in a good setting. But don't delay. Okay, start taking action to get to that meditation. Actions under 2 minutes. Because then you will stick to it. And then you'll be consistent. Okay, there we go. So thank you for your time. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. I love you forever.